Are you ready to power up your outdoor adventures? Well, here we've got the power-packed AllPowers R2500 portable power station and 400 watt folding solar panel, your ultimate solution to powering everything you need on your camping or camper van trip. So stick with us as we check it out and see what it's actually capable of. Don't forget to check out our other videos on everything campervan and motorhome related, from solar to water, heating to gadgets, tyres to trips. If you like this video, please do hit the thumbs up, it really does help me to know what you like, and you can ask any questions or give feedback in the comments. If you want to make sure you don't miss any of our future videos, please hit the subscribe button, and clicking the bell will give you a notification when a new video goes live. Finally, if you do decide to hit the thumbs down, it would be great if you could also leave a comment so I know what you didn't like. From keeping your gadgets charged and your lights on to cooking your food, this power station could be all you need to keep you fully powered up off-grid. But in reality, does it have enough power? Well, we're going to try it out in real life and let you see how it performs. So let's get on with it. We'll look closer at the price comparisons later in the video, but the AllPowers R2500 with its huge 2016 watt hours of power and a continuous 2500 watts pure sine wave inverter is currently available for £999.99, but for a limited time you can get it for just £900 using our discount code. You can also buy it bundled with various sizes of solar panel, all of which you can get discount on, and the setup we'll be using today is the R2500 with a 400 watt solar panel, which with our discount code you can get for £1,260. So let's take a look at what you get. As well as the paperwork, instructions, a handy carry case which holds all the cables, there's the main unit itself. The solar panel comes with all the cables you could need for pretty much any power station, and whilst it's not light at just over 18 kilograms, it is compact and easy enough to fold out and fold down again. On the power station you have two 100 watt USB-C outlets along with two 18 watt and two 12 watt standard USB-A sockets. The 2500 watt pure sine wave inverter powers four 10 amp UK main sockets, and on the 12 volt side you have two 5525 DC sockets and a car accessory socket with a total rating of 10 amps. We'll talk more about this later. For recharging there is the mains input and an XT60 socket for solar or 12 volt charging. Let's test out that 2500 watt inverter by cranking up our microwave to start with. And as you can see, that's taking just over 1000 watts. And now let's pop on one induction ring. Bringing the total used to 1800 watts ish. And then let's pop on the second ring. And now you can see that we're running at 2300 watts and it seems to be coping fine. For recharging via the mains, the unit can accept over 1 kilowatt of power, making it super fast to charge. Using the optional 12 volt cigarette lighter lead is a much more leisurely 100 watts. What we'll be using most is these solar panels, and as you can see, even on a slightly hazy day, we're getting around 320 watts power from them. A great feature of the R2500, particularly if you want to store the main unit away in your van, is that you can monitor it by either Bluetooth or Wi-Fi to see what it's using or being charged, and switch on and off the various outlets. You can also control the settings for charging rate and the eco mode, which automatically switches off the inverter when it's not in use. So our plan when we're away for the weekend is to use the R2500 to power as much as possible in our van. We're hoping to run lights, fridge, Wi-Fi router, our CCTV cameras, TV and water pump on the 12 volts. We've checked the current draw off our normal battery and we don't appear to exceed the 10 amp limit of the output, but we've included a 10 amp fuse just to be sure. On 240 volts through its 2500 watts inverter, we'll be using our microwave, kettle, coffee machine and induction hob, and finally on USB it'll be charging our phones, laptops, tablet and any other gadgets we use. We'll be using the 400 watt solar panels to keep the power station topped up, subject to the weather, so we'll monitor how much they put in using this energy meter. We'll also keep track of the energy we use on mains and 12 volts using these meters. Unfortunately, straight away we hit an issue with the 12 volts. Using a 12 volt car accessory outlet, we found initially that the fridge kept switching off due to an F1 fault, which is low voltage. Also, when we tried to use the TV, it was struggling, and we knew from the stuttering behaviour it also wasn't getting enough voltage. We took a look at the energy meter to see what was going on. As you can see, even though the current being used is well under the 10 amp limit, the voltage is fluctuating between 12.4 and as low as 10 volts. So understandably, the fridge and TV are struggling. Now, if we were using lights and water pump, which are less sensitive to low voltage, it would have been fine. But for equipment that needs a stable 12 volts or more, the outlet just wasn't able to give it, even with the 10 amp limit. So we had to switch back to using our leisure battery for our 12 volt equipment. On the plus side, we had no problems with the mains equipment, happily getting coffees through the evening. Whilst the sun was getting low, as darkness approached, we were still getting 100 watts from the solar panel, helping to offset that use. By the morning, the capacity of the power station, having charged our devices and made more coffee, was down to 84%. But with the solar panels out, we were starting to top it back up, so we cracked on with making breakfast. By the time we'd done that, we were down to 76%, having used 372 watt hours via the mains, and the solar panel having put back a total of 190 watt hours. However, by lunchtime, we were back to 100% on the power pack because the solar had put in a total of 491 watt hours. Griddling halloumi for our lunch ate into that, taking us down to 83%, having used some of the total 591 watt hours from mains, but the solar was putting back in a healthy 347 watts of power. Our dinner was a power-hungry session, griddling meat and cooking noodles, but the sun continuing into the evening kept topping up the power. By the time the sun had gone down, we were at 81%, having used 978 watt hours via mains and the solar panel having put back in just over a kilowatt. Remembering that there are losses on both the charging and inverter, and we've been using the USB sockets on the power pack for recharging devices. In the morning, with the panels out and recapturing that early morning sun, we cracked on with breakfast and coffees, bringing our pack level down to 72%. As the solar topped us up, the luxury of being able to use hair straighteners couldn't be resisted, and by the time we had to vacate our pitch at midday, the sun had fully recharged the pack back to 100%. We were really impressed with the solar panels. We usually use the 460 watt solid panel that's mounted on the roof of the van, which is great at midday, but the amount of power it captures in the morning, afternoon or evening drops off dramatically, and in winter with the low sun angle it's not great at all. The ability to move and tilt the panels definitely meant we were able to capture much more power, and in a future video we'll do a comparison. Let's take a quick look at the summary of the usage and solar charging that kept us going from Friday late afternoon to midday on Sunday easily, and leaving us with a full power pack to set off with. As you can see, we were never at risk of running out of power, with the lowest state of charge of the pack being 72%, and each day the pack was easily brought back to 100% by the solar. Now, the weekend was good weather, but there was also a lot of cloud, which meant the solar power fluctuated, but with 1.6 kilowatt hours of power captured from the sun, and more was available had we needed it. We regularly had the pack back to 100% well before we needed the power. However, that does bring me to one of the slightly annoying things. Once the pack reached 100%, if the inverter was on, the pack went into fault mode, shutting off the inverter. It was a simple case of unplugging the solar to get the inverter back on, but it was annoying that we couldn't run the inverter whilst the battery was at 100% with the solar panels connected. So now we know how it performs, let's take a look at the cost of the R2500, excluding the solar panel. With 2016 watt hours, that's equivalent to 168 ampere hours at 12 volts. The price per watt hour is 49.6p. But remember that not only includes the battery, but the 2500 watt inverter, solar controller, 12 volts and mains charger built in. And there's no messing around with fuses, cables and installation of individual pieces of equipment. If we compare that to a 170 ampere hour Li-Fi P04 leisure battery, which is the same chemistry as the one in the R2500, that comes out at 24.4p per watt hour. But add on the cost of an inverter that's actually 500 watts less than the power in the one in the R2500, a solar, mains and 12 volt charger, and the total cost works out at 52.2p per watt hour. And that's without the cost of cables, fuses, or the cost of complexity of installation. There are benefits of individual items when it comes to replacement and upgrade, but they definitely don't suit everyone, and the cost is not cheaper than an all-in-one unit. So how does the AllPowers R2500 perform? Well, from capacity and mains perspective, it's a great power station. The multitude of USB connections make it great for recharging devices from phones and tablets to drones and laptops. The Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity make it great for keeping track of its use, and paired with the 400 watt solar panels, it really is a powerhouse and will be able to make most people self-sufficient on power, particularly during the summer. But if you're looking to use a lot or higher powered 12 volt equipment, it's possibly not the choice for you. We saw that even within the 10 amp limit, the voltage fluctuated, causing 12 volt items that were sensitive to low voltage not to work. But if you are looking to run the basics like lighting from 12 volts, then it could do the job. Price wise, it's good, and it is a quick and easy option for plenty of power. Thanks for watching our video, and as always, if you have any questions or feedback, please pop them in the comments below. If you find the video useful, please like, share and consider subscribing.